Okay, remember that they are changing my voice. As promised, in this video, I'm going to explain one of the pictures in regards to the tears of the sun idea. Now, the sun in Psalm 19, okay, is a symbol of God and the bridegroom Christ, which is me, and I've proven that a million times over, as you know, as interesting as that is. Malachi 4, the sun in righteousness, okay, and in Revelation toward the end, the root and offspring of David and the bright morning star, which is in its main interpretation is the sun. Some people interpret it as a different star that comes up in the morning before the sun and what have you, and that's just silly, right? That just makes it complicated for no reason, because what the Bible's telling you, they're basically very simple ideas in a complex way, and at times when they explain it a certain way, it helps you picture it in nature and in the spiritual realm and what have you, kind of like poetry. Now, when we look at the pictures on the screen, right, you have the white savior complex, white knight complex, right? They wanted the hero of the movie to be a white guy. Now, the storyline is about military guys that go to Africa, and most of them are white and so on and so forth, right? But the reason why they have a certain formula and a pattern of formulas, right, a pattern of movies and movie themes and movie propaganda, is because they're trying to promote white, Jewish, and LGBT supremacy. For example, they usually have, like, in some of these TV series or some of these movies about kids in high school, okay, who have a crush on the hot chick in high school. It's some guy who has Jewish-like characteristics. It's like a little Jewish nerd, and he's like, that's the hot chick, and those are the jocks, okay? That's propaganda, trying to get people to get used to the idea that society is centered around these people, and to try to get them to go along with it, even though it's unfair and wicked and not right, and so on and so forth. Okay, so Tears of the Sun is a movie about, people in my tribe who are under attack by the Nigerian government, and these soldiers, these special forces guys, are trying to escort them into Cameroon, which is the country next door. So it's about Nigeria, the Igbo tribe, what have you. And so when they when they really emphasized the soldier as the main character, they're superimposing a white person on the idea of Christ, right? The idea of the Igbo top martial arts. And they also depicted the Igbos in the movie as like helpless and needing the white man to magically save them, and so on and so forth, which is also part of the racist ideology, the hateful and racist ideology of the state that we see historically being espoused and propounded through the entertainment sector. Now you see the pictures in the middle. Okay, these two females, one of them looks like the main character, which is Monica Bellucci, excuse me, not the main character, but the female in the movie, who's Monica Bellucci, who plays the role of a doctor. Keep in mind, my parents are doctors, and she somewhat resembles my mother, right? So they do things like that where what's called amalgamation. They amalgamate a character with various characteristics to cause you to get pissed off. She has certain traits of my mother and certain traits of my ex-fiance, and a female named Maria, who broke my heart in high school. So my ex-fiance, her name was Mary Kate, and there was a chick named Maria who broke my heart in high school, right? Mary, Maria, Mary Kate, cat, right? Leopard, lion, what have you. So they like doing things like that. And in mental health, which, mental health and Hollywood like go hand in hand, like banking and big pharma go hand in hand. Banking, big pharma, mental health, okay, Hollywood, music, right? It goes hand in hand. And same with the, the CIA, it all, they're all overlapping thoroughly, okay? A more integrated system than we had before, we have today. And it was like that a long time ago as well. So, they made it so that the female in the middle picture, the one with the black hair, looks like Monica Bellucci. And the picture on the far right, where she's bowing down, that's a movie called Irreversible, where she's raped in a subway. And this has various implications, right? The tunnel, right? There's a lot of implications here, right? It's symbolic of a lot of things, including a vagina, a path. I mean, a lot of things here. And how I know that this is the pattern is when you do enough research into Freemasonry and the occult and things like this, right? Okay, Jewish mysticism, you see that this is how they think, right? It's a pattern of thinking. What Paul referred to in his letters is a pattern of teaching, but in this case, it's coming from the devil and not from God. So we see that the females in the middle picture are covered with this kind of black, this like venom, who's a very pronounced character in the Marvel comics against Spider-Man. He's in the movies, I imagine, to some degree as well. It's been a while since I've seen those movies. Okay, and he's covered in, he's like an alien, and he's covered in black. Now, in Aliens, right, it goes back to Marvin the Martian. Mars. Mars is a Roman deity. That's part of the game they're playing there, where we get the word martial arts. Okay, so aliens, Mars, you see how there's various connections that branch out, and sometimes it seems like a stretch, but if it fits the pattern of their thinking, then it's a valid application. That's how magic, spells, and occult cut-ups work, right? It causes you to be a little bit dizzy. Whoa, that's a lot of thinking, man. Whoa, okay? And it also has a certain pattern. If it's there, if it's part of the harassment that we'd expect someone like me to get from it, that is part of the magic spell on that person and everyone else, because they believe that everything's connected, you know, symbiotic relationship, you know, energy flows around, what goes around comes around, karma, you know, they believe in a lot of these ideas that have been mixed into religions over a long period of time. And a lot of these religions, at least, we'll say, have been started by occultists and not by people that meant well or something. And, okay, so we have the connection from irreversible. Now, what happens when you screen out the most righteous person ever, the top martial artist ever possible? Especially at a time of tech, breeding, cheating, generational ill-gotten gains. The effect is irreversible. Now, if God is love, and in the Roman and Greek system, God is Eros/Cupid, stupid Cupid. Eros is sore, spelled backwards, sore loser. His name is also scrambled into the word loser. Okay? Then all that's left is erotic desire. Now, who would push for that the most, right? The LGBT community. Why? Because you don't, with all due respect, true romantic love cannot be achieved in a homosexual relationship, with all due respect. Okay, that's part of what these people themselves believe. Not just the Bible, not just me, what have you. So they want people to not take relationships seriously. Some of these guys are free love. Some of these guys are Republicans in the churches. Some of these guys are politicians, what have you. That's what they believe. That's why in the movie Romeo Must Die, which we'll get to in the future, okay, that why does Romeo Must Die? It's in the word Rome, right? Romans did not believe in love. They orgies, rape, pagan bullshit. That's what they believed in. They brought in Christianity to cover up, you know, what they're doing, because they know most indigenous people believed in something closer to love than the Romans did. And they wanted to make them their sex slaves and to not have them, you know, fight to the death and commit suicide. That's why when they interpret the Bible, they say, turn the other cheek, and they say, don't kill yourself, which is not the message of the Bible. It's actually the other way around. You see in Revelation, it says, you know, they didn't love their life so much as to shrink from their death. We see with Samson. We see with the Jews who fight in battles against all odds, and a lot of them get killed. Okay, that's a recurring theme. They're fighting to the death. They're doing things that cause their death. John the Baptist, Jesus, Stephen the martyr. The Antichrist argument is to just assimilate and to the fucking evil and despicable, you know, especially child molesting, devil spirit of these people when they take on a certain formation. It's also in I think it's in Jeremiah where it says these people come into a certain formation, a battle formation. It's Malachi or Jeremiah or something. Okay, so the people who in the end of the Bible who finish off the world, right? They come into a formation, which means they're fighting side by side with pedophiles, child molesters, serial killers, mass druggers, mass murderers, you name it, every kind of dog. So they're in the same amalgamated combination, you know, abominations of the earth. Abomination is a combination, right? It resembles a leopard, okay, as, you know, feet like a bear, okay, and mouth like a lion, and so on and so forth. It's a combination of different evil ideas that are found, especially because it's aimed in the book at the Jews in Jerusalem of this world, and Zion of this world, and not Jerusalem in the sky or Zion in the sky. Okay. So that's key in this. And it's a Judeo-Christian culture. That's why I put Judeo first, because the Kabbalah and the mysticism has always been there in this society. Okay, it's always been there on this planet, where the early kind of pilgrims, okay, were occultists and in cults. These were cult people. These weren't your modern church people, which are the offspring of cult people, but they were clearly cult people.